Hi, garden rebels. I've been having to put on an extra jacket, a long sleeve shirt, or a hat, or maybe even just a cap to stay warm. But it reminds me, with these temperature droppings, that there are a few garden maintenance projects to do. And by doing it doesn't take long, just it's a few minutes, a small brief window in the garden, and your future self will thank you graciously in the spring, summer, and fall. All those garden details coming up. All you'll be needing is a good pair of pruners, nice and sharp. Remember, it's easy to sharpen your pruners when you have your tools with you. Spend a little bit of time sharpening your tools, and it even makes it go so much easier. Next thing to do is just have something where you're going to put away the cuttings. First plant I want to talk about, the most important right now, are your hydrangeas. And hydrangeas have those beautiful blooms in the summer, actually late spring, summer, and into fall. And then we can even take these blooms and dry them. If you happen to have an old-fashioned type of hydrangeas, varieties like Nico Blue, Pink Embers, those type of varieties, then we have to be a little bit more selective. So we might prune some of the new growth, but not all of the new growth. So you leave half of the new growth and cut back half of the new growth. So that gives you a little bit of bloom for next year without shearing and removing all the blooms. Now, if you happen to have a traditional hydrangea, but it's just too big for you, then yes, you may. You can prune that to a good size stub and just realize next year you won't have blooms. New varieties like this one's called Summer Crush. Yes, this will bloom next year easily on any of the new growth. That's why they call it re-blooming, because oftentimes if you prune them even during the season and it has new growth, you can get a chance at a new bloom for that year, for that season. By the way, if you want to be really technical, not 100% necessary, but if you want to be particularly clean, when you have a node like this, so you have the stem and then you have a node with a leaf coming up on each side, if you just prune it a 1/4 inch higher than that, that way we'll get 2 new branches for next year. For these new hydrangeas, it means that we'll have twice as many blooms for next year. My technique, by the way, is to go ahead and shear, and then I just go back and just clip the ends on any that I see. Not 100% necessary, but it gives you a little bit cleaner look for next year. By the way, did I show you this? This is really a neat invention. And I sell these, but I haven't sold one of these in, I want to say, 10 years, because it kind of just sits on the shelf and no one knows what it is. But if you want to know, it's a secret that I use around the nursery all the time. It is a tarp. right? It's just a tarp. The nice thing about this one, it has these little handles, and it's a tarp that's large enough to when you're trimming, you can throw all your trims on the ground. And then when you're done, you can just take all 4 handles, lift it up, put it over your shoulders, and then dump them. Really a neat invention. I'm not even sure if they're still making these. I've got 6 of them left. Now I want to leave you with one last tip, and that is about your grasses. And the grasses aren't as much of an emergency as a here and now as the hydrangeas. But here's your choice, is that if you enjoy the winter look, that fall tanning of that, you can certainly leave your grass growing, or leave your grass as is. Let it wave in the fall and winter wind. Enjoy it just like it is. If you want a little more of a clean and proper look for the garden, you may shear that back. So really, it comes down to 2 choices. You can shear it back now or shear it back in February. And the reason being is you don't want the New Year's growth mixing with the old tan growth of last year, so you don't get that brown and green mixture. So there you have it. Cut back the hydrangeas, cut back your grasses if you like. Guys, that's the tips and tricks for this week. Always live your passion. And yes, you have time to plant your baskets and containers too.